The White House is holding a social media summit, but some major tech leaders were not invited to attend.
President Trump has been highly critical of companies like Twitter and Facebook, claiming they're biased against conservatives. So earlier I spoke to CNET senior producer Dan Patterson about what to expect from the summit.
According to the White House, we can expect a robust conversation about the state of the online environment. That's paraphrasing a little, but not much. The White House sees this as a gathering of all of the important actors. Of course, Facebook, Twitter, and other social media giants were not invited. Now, of course, I think everyone watching can understand that, hey, the president uses social media quite a bit. How can this be the case, especially after he's spending so much money on Facebook and Twitter and other social media platforms for his re-election campaign? It's an interesting dichotomy that's happening this weekend.
It really is. So there's this sort of vague agenda, right? Outside, people who haven't been invited really don't know what the purpose of this summit is. So we have to kind of look at who's invited to try and determine what it might be. The president has complained about that he feels that conservative voices are sort of stifled, or, I mean, he's outright sort of accused Twitter of removing tweets that were too conservative. But he didn't invite them. So is he really trying to correct the problem?
Well, the challenge, what's happening here, is the systemic gaslighting that is bad-mouthing over and over again of social media platforms, and these accusations that come without merit that are designed to make us feel pretty poorly about these social media platforms at a time where there are actual legitimate stories about Facebook, Twitter, and others. So what this does is muddy the waters between what is actually a problem and what the president says is a problem. And we should note that what the president says is a problem, there's no evidence for his accusations. We do chat with the social media companies, and we do look at what's happening in terms of the accusations of censorship, of bias, and what they call ghosting accounts or shadow banning accounts.
So some of the organizations that have been invited are sort of well-known organizations that represent a more conservative point of view. But as I understand it, there's also some individuals who are sort of more shadowy characters, if you will, that one would not normally see as journalists or anything along those lines. Is the president legitimizing some of these sort of edgier conservative voices?
Yeah.
I say edgy, but really, I mean, some people call them trolls.
And we can use the word fringe without talking down to these people or demonizing people who might follow them or pay attention to them. And I want to be very clear that simply because you're paying attention to or in the audience of these people, we are not necessarily talking down to you or bad about you, but we do see this rise of conspiracy theories and those who actively push conspiracy theories. So some of those who were invited did prop up the Pizzagate conspiracy as well as the QAnon conspiracy. James O'Keefe, and I have had conversations with James O'Keefe. He has in the past snuck into organizations or purported to be someone else to access organizations, then surreptitiously recorded someone. So you can imagine how that would make anyone feel if you took any conversation off the record, recorded it, and then broadcast it out of context. Look, these are the types of people that the president is elevating by inviting them to the summit.
Right.
So yes, this does highlight a particular segment of internet culture that is known for behavior that is dishonest and you said the word trollish.
For some people
I think that it is their behavior is borderline trollish.
I think the way you have defined it is actually very, very good, and I'm glad you pointed out it's not about talking down to people, but some of the things certain groups might question. Censorship, though, is a legitimate conversation to have about these social media platforms, right? And you spoke to Jennifer Greigel about censorship. I want to play a little bit of that.
What you will see with some of these big global companies, too, is that they may be making the decision as to what is free speech and what they will be doing based on the country that they're operating in.
All right, so American companies means that there's a certain amount of protection in terms of expression. What role does censorship play, and how does censorship help or hurt these companies?
Yeah, so Jen is saying that, look, these platforms have complex ecosystems that they have to respond to. Sometimes the laws in other countries aren't the same as the United States, but no matter what, these are private companies. And when I talk to these private companies, privately, on background, they use the analogy of a bar. You are welcome to come to our bar. In fact, you're welcome to drink a beer at our bar. You are welcome to get drunk. But the moment you pass a line and you harangue another customer, or you scream or yell or behave in a way we don't like, we can ask you to leave. And they say, hey, look, our policies have been a little inconsistent. Fine, that's fair. But what we've done is ask people who are rowdy in our bar to leave.
Okay, that's an interesting image for me to ponder. Dan Patterson, thank you very much.
Great to see you.